More than 10,000 John Deere workers on strike after failed UAW deal. More than 10,000 are on strike on the picket line Thursday after the union was unable to hammer out a new contract deal with management of the tractor company. Workers at 14 Deere and Company locations were made good on their vow to go on strike at the stroke of midnight after the company failed to present an agreement that met our members' demands and needs. Our members at John Deere strike for the ability to earn a decent living, retire with dignity, and establish fair work rules. Speaking for somebody who has had John Deere equipment as well as we used to be a Coyote dealership. It was funny because when we were a Coyote dealership, my dad actually still had I think 2 John Deere tractors that he bought for himself, one for the shop, our main location, and one for his house. Even though we sold Coyote tractors, which has grown actually, their brand has become more powerful over the years since we stopped selling it back in 2015. Our members at John Deere strike for union workers overwhelmingly rejected a contract over this week that would have delivered 5% raises to some workers and 6% to others. Now, the UAW said workers will picket Deere around the clock until the two sides reach a contract. The union will provide will provide members $275 a week in strike pay until the standoff is over. This is the first major strike in 35 years at John Deere, which is known for its iconic green and yellow farm equipment and workers, many of whom have been toiling extra hours for months because of the pandemic-related worker shortages, and they said they are fed up. The whole nation's going to be watching us, Chris Larson said, who works as a painter at Deere. If we take a stand here for ourselves, our families, for basic human prosperity, it's going to make a difference for the whole manufacturing industry. Let's do it. Let's not be intimidated. Deere and Company said it wants to keep talking. We are determined to reach an agreement with the UAW that would put every employee in a better economic position and continue to make them the highest paid employees in the agriculture and construction industries. Brad Morris, Deere Vice President of Labor Relations, but the company admitted in May that it was struggling to find enough qualified workers to meet its production needs. This year, another group of UAW workers went on strike. The Volvo trucks plant in Virginia wound up with better pay and lower cost health benefits after rejecting the 3 tentative contract offers. The contracts under negotiation under 14 Deere plants across the United States, including 7 in Iowa, 4 in Illinois, and 1 each in Kansas, Colorado, and Georgia. The contract talks in Illinois hit a wall even as Deere was expecting to report record profits of $5.7 billion to $5.9 billion this year. The company has been reporting strong sales of its agriculture equipment this year, as well as construction equipment. The Deere production plants are an important contributor to the economy, so local officials hope any strike will be short-lived. We definitely want to see our economy stabilize and grow after the impact of COVID-19, says Malene Mayer told blah, blah, blah. Hopefully these parties can come to a resolution soon. He sat down and asked if there was any way he could borrow some money from me to put food on the table and pay some bills. Egger said to her dad, of course, I grabbed my savings and what I had in my paycheck. My mom had to go to work, was really crushing for my dad, and he picked up any odd jobs he could come up with just to make ends meet. And that was Heidi Egger told that she was a high school senior when her dad and many of her uncles went on strike in 1986, and that strike lasted almost 6 months. So look, I don't like to see strikes either. I don't think anybody really wants to see strikes. I think that it's important that the I think it's really important that the workers be compensated, especially as they've gone through a really tough year and now getting closer to 2 years, right? So the thing about John Deere is they have attacked, or they very much are not in favor of right to repair. If you haven't checked out Lewis Rossman, go check out him. He's all about. He's very. He's kind of abrasive, but means well, has a good heart, and he is actively fighting across the United States for right to repair. Something that the likes of John Deere has been opposed of because they want to control all of the parts, and soup to nuts everything, kind of like how Apple does. But hey, to a certain extent, Apple does a good job, and they have a ways to go. And I think that they want some. They will eventually succumb to this as well when it comes to right to repair. Now, obviously, this isn't about right to repair, but what this is about is when you start talking about 10,000 workers that are going to be sidelined in a time where people, even John Deere admittedly can't find skilled workers themselves. To me, this actually seems like, I don't know when their contract ended. I guess their contract ended at the stroke of midnight. But, it seemed like they probably all knew what was coming already because of the fact that they're on track to do $5.7 billion record profits this year on the low end and 5.9 on the high end. Look, if you think you can get away with using other workers, be my guest. But I tend to think that Deere will probably hold out till they get a deal that is more in line with what they want rather than the strikers. When you start talking about all that, those billions of dollars of profit, they have the money to sit on the sideline. And as the story by Heidi pointed out at the end of this article, the average person doesn't have that opportunity. They got to do whatever they can to make ends meet because they don't have a whack ton of money sitting in the bank waiting to make it go. But with that said, if this does go on for longer, those people that are in those situations might start looking for other employment, right? They might start looking to start their own businesses. They might look to take an opportunity moving might be tough because of the amount of the pricing of housing, but to go and take a chance doing something else. It's a really bad time for it, especially as we have with the labor shortage and some food shelves are starting to go empty in certain parts of the country, certain types of foods and things of that nature. The food all runs around tractors, right? So we having and construction as well. So without having those people there to be able to assemble more, it really will be a blast. Or a blast to the economy, I should say. And I would hope that somebody like the mayor of Moline, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but Moline, does something to help the two, maybe helps to facilitate, bring the two parties together to come to some kind of an agreement, right? And I hope that they get what I hope they get what they're looking for. These people have been through hell this last almost 2 years now, and they absolutely deserve. They work hard and they put together great products and regardless of John Deere's stance on right to repair, they deserve to get paid. When they could easily, how many of those 10,000 people could just easily go work for Amazon? Though you shouldn't, because Amazon, after seeing Jeff Bezos the other yesterday with William Shatner, if you watch that video, go get subscribed and watch that. But way he treated William Shatner, like it wasn't great. But they could go get those. They could go, work $25 an hour there at Amazon. They could go work for Target. They could go work for Walmart. They could, there's a deluge of opportunities out there, and especially other manufacturers. Because you think if John Deere is suffering with finding skilled workers, you don't think their competitors are? There's definitely opportunities out there, and I just hope that this doesn't last for too long, and that they're able to eventually get back to work at a deal that is beneficial to both the business and the employees, right? I want the business to do, I want businesses to do well. They need to do well, but at the same time, they need people, and they already are well aware they need quality people, and those quality people have walked out on them. So I tend to side with them. Like, if we're going to put together almost $6 billion in record profits that year, don't be scared to invest in the people. We just talked about this yesterday too on the Entrepreneurs with Chipotle, and looking at labor, not at labor cost, not as a cost, but as an investment. And this is, I think, a clear sign of that. It's a labor investment, not necessarily labor cost.